What's up, Pirates? Wraith and Jim here with AwakenedTCG, and today we are going over the OP07 leaders. All six have finally been announced, and we have what their effects are.
Yep. So first up here, it's going to be Monkey D. Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army and the father of Monkey D. Luffy. Finally getting into the game. Haven't seen much of anything from him in the manga or anime, but we're kind of seeing the same thing as far as his effect goes. It's kind of very simple. It's going to be activate main once per turn, give up to a total of 2 of your currently attached on to one of your characters. So basically, you're just transferring attached on, and you're getting like double the value from attaching Dawn to characters. Um, Very simple. It's kind of just like a big brother, or you could say, father of Monkey D. Luffy, the starter deck leader. It's very similar, except this one is going to take attached on, and it's going to take 2 of them instead of 1. Obviously, this is really good for a ton of the revolutionary cards that need 7k power for their effects. Although, I think with a generically good leader like this, I don't know if you want to lean into the revolutionary stuff, but we will have to see.
Yeah, he seems very, very aggro from what it looks like. Like, you can play a rush character. Like, let's say you play a rush Zoro on 5 Dawn, you attach 2, you swing 7, use his effect, you attach onto him, swing 7 again, right? So just a lot of firepower is what it's looking like. And so yeah, if I were to try to come up with a deck for this leader, I'd definitely tend into making it a little more aggro.
Yeah, aggro, or maybe like how back in set 1, 2, maybe even 3, people would run the starter deck Luffy. It would kind of just be like a mid-rangey, almost a Whitebeard type list.
Hmm.
Maybe that works with this, but nowadays with all the removal, like I don't know if you can run that anymore. So kind of a boring leader, but could be strong, right? So
Yeah,
we,
for
we'll
sure,
ha- we'll have to
100%.
see there. And next up here, we've got the Jewelry Bonnie, going to be a 5,000 power and 5 life mono green leader. And if I have not mentioned it yet, guys, all of these 6 leaders in OP07 are going to be monocolor leaders. All of the 6 colors will be covered, red through yellow. So this is going to be our green representation.
Hmm.
And a Jewelry Bonnie's effect is going to be when opponent attacks once per turn, you can rest 1 Dawn and then rest up to 1 of your opponent's leaders or characters. This effect is absolutely ridiculous. Doing 1 Dawn to rest literally anything, there is no cost restriction, and on top of that, you can rest leaders, is just not fair, I almost want to say. Like, Punk Gibson is obviously on a card, so not only do you have to draw it, this is always on your leader, and Punk Gibson gives you 4k power, sure, but that's for 1 more Dawn, and it only rests a 4 less character. This rests anything for 1, and it's on your leader every turn. This is just... It might be too strong, I almost want to say.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have cards like Ten Cos do Flamingo, where you're just resting, their board, and so if they want to swing at you on a turn where you're going to 10 with one of their units, well, you should get a free rest. Now your 10 cost has 2 targets at the very least, right? Um, or your opponent can just not swing at all, and now you're just saving yourself cards in hand because they're not pressuring you. There's just so many good things about having 1 Dawn up and just passing to your opponent with multiple swings on board, threatening so much with green, right? I almost want to say it's too broken, like you were saying. It's honestly pretty insane. Like, this card here is an infinite rest on one of your opponent's characters or leader every turn. It's
Yeah,
disgusting. I feel like it's so much value.
it's so strong. I mean, to be fair, leaving 1 Dawn up if you're trying to play on curve is not the best thing to do. And it's not easy unless you're playing green purple Doflamingo, but you're not playing that deck. So if you do want to leave that Dawn up every turn, you are playing off curve. But I'd say the trade off for the 1 Dawn is probably worth it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anyways, next up here, we've got Boa Hancock, and going to be our blue representation this time around. Going to be another standard 5,000 power and 5 life monocolor leader. This one's effect is going to be on your turn once per turn. You may activate this when a character leaves play from one of your abilities, so this could be one of your opponent's characters or one of your characters. And then after that, if you have 5 or less cards in hand, you get to draw 1 card. So another very simple leader. Obviously, it's just card draw built into the leader. But a lot of people are undervaluing this leader, I think. The best monocolor blue leader we've had to this day is a toss-up between Starter Deck Croc, which was literally one of the first leaders we ever got, and the Mono Blue Luffy from the promo, which is kind of funky because you need to be at 3 or less cards in hand to draw with him and attack. This one, you're doing what Blue was already going to do. We were already removing characters. But now, if you have 5 or less cards in hand, which is not a big ask, that's pretty easy. You usually have 5 or less cards in hand, especially in blue. You're just going to draw 1 card. So now every removal card, Mihawk, 3000 Worlds, Red Rock, all those cards, now they read, do the removal, and draw a card. Like, there's no way this leader is not good, and I think there's no way it's not the new best mono blue leader.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. I think that, being able to play to the color strength while being able to always have yourself at a position where you can draw where you remove something is huge, right? You can you can counter out defensively, make sure you're at that 5 threshold, and then when it's your 4 dawn turn, you 3000 worlds their body they just played. When you're at 6 dawn, you red rock something they play, right? You can not only remove their board at all times, you're drawing, which makes it basically like a free effect. You're cycling, the card you just used to remove their board. So you're getting value from the removal. You're drawing the card you just used, and you're putting yourself into a position where resource-wise you can outpace your opponent.
Yeah, it's basically like you're never going down in card advantage, and your opponent is just playing cards continuously and losing cards out of hand while you are literally never running out of cards if we're using 1 removal effect per turn.
Yeah, it seems super strong. I can't wait to try it out.
No, it's going to be really fun, especially if you love blue. Next up here, we've got our purple rep for this set, and it is going to be Foxy from the Foxy Pirates. As I was saying in one of the videos, I think it was a week ago or so, where I talked about the potential cards that we're going to get in the future. Foxy was on that list, and lo and behold, here he is in the next set, OP07. With a very interesting effect. This one going to be when attacking, Dom -3. If you have 3 or more Foxy Pirate characters in play, choose up to 1 of each of your opponent's rested leaders and characters. So you can choose a 1 leader and 1 character. And then the cards you choose do not become active during their owner's next refresh phase. So same exact thing as a 10-cost Doflamingo. If these cards are rested, they're not becoming active after you pass to your opponent. Which is, as we know, very strong. It is locked on that 10-cost card. But this one going to do it for Dom -3 when attacking, with a conditional effect of having those 3 Foxy Pirates on board. So the thing with that is always going to rely on how good the support cards are and how good the archetype is, because no matter how strong this effect is, if the Foxy Pirate cards suck, this leader can never be good.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's going to rely mostly on what the support is. I feel like if some of the Foxy Pirates don't have a removal negate, like this character can't be KO'd, it's going to be real rough to ever get his effect off. Especially with Moria and Sakazuki dominating the meta. I feel like just throwing this into that meta is going to be really bad if you can't ever keep 3 or more characters that are Foxy Pirate on board. Then it's like, okay, now you're just a mono purple leader. What are you doing playing Foxy Pirate, right?
Yeah, and I mean to flood 3, like 3 is honestly a lot. So these either have to be really low cost cards, which means like sure, you can actually play them out and then use this effect in the same turn, but they're just getting removed next turn. And if they didn't draw you cards, then you're just running out of cards really fast and you have no board presence. The reason Zora worked back in older sets is because all these little guys you played were drawing you cards, so you're never losing card advantage for the small bodies. So if the Foxy Pirate cards don't do that and they're really cheap little small bodies, I can't really see this leader being good.
Yeah, definitely up in the air. The effect isn't as good as the previous leaders we've discussed, but you never know. It could still be really strong with great support.
Yeah, very conditional. Speaking of great support, just want to throw this one thing in because I am kind of looking forward to playing this leader, and I saw a great idea in the comments that can make this guy really good. So if you've seen the Foxy Pirates arc, the Long Ring Long Land arc, it is the arc where they do games and you get to steal your opponent's pirates if you win the games, basically. So I think a stage, like maybe 3 cost or so, that just reads all of your characters have the Foxy Pirates trait would be really good for this leader because it would not lock you into the new Foxy Pirates cards. You can play any card, and as long as you have the stage on board, it counts as a Foxy Pirate. So I think that would be a lot of fun and very thematic and fun, as this leader is as well, trying to basically be his slow effect on the leader. Yeah. But next up here, let's get into our black rep this time around. Going to be another Rob Lucci leader. Honestly, a bit disappointing, but to be fair, this one is his CP0 outfit from the Egghead arc, and he also is in his leopard form, which is really cool. But anyway, his effect is going to be when attacking, you may trash the top 2 cards of your deck and give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 to their cost for this turn. Yeah, very simple effect, right? You're building trash and you are minusing cost on attack, which I think we have like 3 black leaders by now that already do that. This one, though, probably building trash the most consistent out of them. But Sakazuki obviously is just doing it in a better way. You get to choose what's going into trash and you draw a card. So probably just worse Sakazuki. If they release good CP support, I think that is the only reason you'd have to play this leader over any other black leader.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even think this would be the best mono black leader, honestly.
No.
Even with good CP support, I feel like you could definitely run the other Rob Lucci over this. I don't think you ever had trouble discarding and getting cards in trash as is with brand new spend them, and so I feel like this is kind of lackluster. I dare say this is probably the worst effect out of all these 6 leaders that we're gonna go over. So
I think
not much
I could
on
agree.
this card.
Yeah,
I definitely had higher hopes for a card like this, especially being the second Rob Lucci.
Right.
You got to be better than the first one.
That's what I'm saying. For an OP07 card too, it's like, come on, guys. Do we have power creep for every color? Or I guess black is probably the most power creep color by now. It's probably the strongest at the moment, but Rob Lucci not following suit. Anyways, next up here, we have the leader I am most excited about. We have, in yellow, Vega Punk. So Vega Punk is although he is mono yellow, he is not a standard leader. He's going to be 5,000 power and 2 life. This is the lowest ever life we've gotten on a leader in the entire game. Really glad they're experimenting with life because I think it's one of the funnest mechanics in the game. Anyways, this one obviously is going to be a very strong effect if we have 2 life. So it's going to read, this leader cannot attack, which is another drawback. And then it's going to be activate main once per turn. You can tap 1 Dawn and then place up to 1 cost 5 or less card with the Egghead type from your hand face up on the top of your life or into play. So we can play 5 cost cards for 1 Dawn, which is very insane. This leader is very similar to Iceberg, except now you can play these cards into your life, obviously, meaning this can lead into triggers. Anything else like that, but it is locked to Egghead cards, similar to how Iceberg is locked to Water 7 cards, so this leader will only be as good as the Egghead cards are. So
yeah, and one good thing to know about this leader, unlike Iceberg, is you don't have to Dawn minus, right? You're going to be ramping your Dawn, so you're going to be able to be playing cards out of hand as well, just like any other normal leader. I feel like if Iceberg had something similar, it would have been a way better leader. Obviously, Iceberg does have 5 life, but yeah, I'm super excited for this leader. He seems fun. He's definitely the most experimental in terms of his ability. Starting with 2 life seems very sketchy, but obviously every turn you can put one card into life, which seems pretty good. But yeah, I'm excited for OP07. Honestly, I want to see it shake up the meta. Hopefully Moria and Sakazuki can get checked for sure, because it's been 2 sets of dominance for Sakazuki. Moria is up there now for its first set, but hopefully things can change. Yeah, I'm super excited for this leader. He's probably my second favorite behind Bonnie.
Yeah, honestly, don't think he's going to make a big splash. Like, you're going to need the Egghead cards to be really, really good, because 2 life, that's like a lot less cards than every other deck gets in the game, so these cards are going to need to be really strong for this to work, or you're just going to run out of cards in hand and you're going to die really fast.
All right, Pirates, that is going to be the end of this video. We just went over all 6 OP07 leaders. Let us know in the comments down below which one was your favorite and what you're going to try out for OP07. But with that being said, like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. It's still 70% of you guys that are watching our content that are not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and check down below. Make sure you're subscribed. We're going to continue this great content for you guys. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.